And indeed, I studied quite intensively the joint statement and also the two legislative proposals by the Commission as a first step for the implementation of the deal between the United States and the European Union. And I'm not really satisfied with the proposal for several reasons. And I will make 5 S. It's steel, it's standstill, it's strong suspension clause, it's safeguard, and it's sunset clause. 5 S are the leading principle of my proposals. Starting with S, number 1, steel. As you know, the United States lifted round about 407 products containing steel and aluminium from the 15% tariff up to 50% tariff. And this is harming the European industry quite dramatically. So 70% of all our agriculture technique export to the United States are covered by this, and they have to pay now 50% tariffs. It's from windmill, agriculture technically, machinery, motorbikes, and so on. And I guess this is not acceptable that these measures taken after the deal are now still in force. And I want to have an equivalency so that only if the United States are reducing this 50% tariffs of these products back to the 15%, I will allow the reduction of 0% tariff for steel and steel products in Europe. Secondly, stand still. And this is a bit linked to the first item. In this joint statement, there is no standstill clause. And you see, day by day, there are new elements coming from the United States in addition to the deal and the joint statement. And I guess we have to be clear that we want to have really a standstill clause and we not accept that additional tariffs, additional measures are taken by the United States. This is clearly against the spirit of the deal. Third, we need also some strong suspicion clause. And we put it in similar to the provision on our anti-coercion instrument. Because we see at the moment a lot of coercive measures or announcement coming from the United States, which is targeting our sovereignty on trade policy. For example, some countries in the Arabic world, together with the United States, are pushing against our climate policy and wants to have a change in our legislation. Or President Trump make an announcement via Truth Social that he wants to have a change in the digital legislation, otherwise he wants to establish tariffs and export restriction. Or some days ago, there was a pressure towards the government of the Netherlands to withdraw the CEO from Nexperia because of the pressure from the United States, and this leads really to an escalation in the conflict with China, and we have, for a lot of automotive and supplier, no ships available anymore. So there are a lot of elements where we see coercive pressure from the United States, and if this will happen, then of course we should be ready to cut immediately this legislation. Fourth, the colleagues, in our better law-making agreement with the Council and the Commission, we agreed that before introducing new legislation, we should really have an impact assessment, what the consequences are. And now we are setting zero tariff for industrial goods, sometimes really in competition with goods on the European market, and also zero for some agriculture products like tomato or orange juice, and a big quota zero for agricultural goods as well. Nobody knows what are the consequences, what are the market situation after the introduction of these measures. So we want to have a safeguard regulation. By the way, similar we did with the Mercosur agreement, and similar we did also on the steel safeguard published quite recently. And last point, last S, the sunset clause. As you know, this piece of legislation is not in line with WTO rules. And in this world of turbulences, I guess we should be clear that we stick to the rule of WTO and will not accept for a long time this breach of the MFN clause and the discrimination against products from other countries than the United States. And therefore, we want to have a sunset clause. If there's no perspective for a comprehensive trade agreement, then, of course, we have to stop this exercise in line with WTO rules.